Okay, so the students normally they ask me that is this unit an easy unit to score HD if they haven't taken BFW 101? So I would say yes. I have seen that the students who have not taken BFW 101, they score HD. And if you have taken 101, then it would be slightly advantage because you normally are familiar with some terms, but it doesn't make any significant difference. Number two, in the final exam, especially today, I was actually marking the supplementary exam of the students from the last semester. So, so these are those students who have not attempted the questions. Normally, when you are appearing for the final exam, when you see that you cannot attempt the questions, you are afraid that the solution might not be correct. So you don't attempt the question. So I would advise you to attempt the question because out of 10 maybe you can get 6 because I will see your effort despite that your answer is not correct. So I will see your effort and you can get marks. But if you will not attempt any questions, then of course you are not going to get any marks. So if you do your best, you may pass. But if you will leave the question unattempted, then I cannot help you. Okay. So if you say that we will fail, it is just you who actually have failed yourself. I mean, if you want my help, I would advise you to do all the questions. Okay. So don't worry if you are taking 101 concurrently in this semester, you shouldn't be worried because these two units in the first few weeks, you will feel that there is similarity, and that is I admit that there is a similarity there, but there are reasons for the similarity. Number one, this unit is a double ACC accredited unit. So if you take this unit, you will be exempted for financial management when you take ACCA, because there are topics that are given to us by ACCA, so we cannot exclude those topics. Number one. Okay. Number two, there are students who are taking this unit for the first time. They haven't taken BFW 101. So we cannot skip these topics, initial topics of financial mathematics or the valuation principle topics, because we need to help those students as well. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for those students who are taking it for the first time. Okay, so these are the two major reasons where you can find some topics being discussed in 101 and corporate finance. But in corporate finance, you will see that the topics that we will discuss in the subsequent sections will be in more detail. So 101 is largely a surface level unit where you touch every aspect: corporate finance, financial management. You take some parts of the derivatives, you take some topics on investment portfolio management, some international financial management. So it's an introduction of all the finance units. But corporate finance is one of the finance units that you actually study in detail. Okay. So what are the takeaways before we start our question is that if you're worried that you cannot score HD and because you haven't taken 101, so don't worry, you can do that. Number two, if you think that there are some overlaps, so there are overlaps just because of the accreditation requirements, but those overlaps are very minor in the first few weeks. In the subsequent section, you will see that we will deviate from the normal surface level topics and we will dig things in more detail. Okay. And the third thing is that I would advise you that if you want to pass this unit, you have to do all the questions in the final exam, without being afraid that my answer is correct or not. You just do your best, you will pass, I assure you. Okay. Because I will see your effort, that how much effort you have put, then I will see. Okay. So the attendance code for this session, I will upload it after the session. I will send you through announcement. Okay. Normally the attendance code for the international students, I sent it through announcement. So if you are not able to see the announcement, you can just check it. Okay, number three, the financial calculators. Some students, they say, sir, should we buy the financial calculator? Would we be more better off by buying the financial calculator? I would say, if you are doing the finance major, I would strongly recommend you to buy the financial calculator because it is going to help you in your coming finance units. Okay, so it will be very helpful for you. But if you do not want to buy the financial calculator, it's totally up to you because I have seen students doing very well using the scientific calculator. So if you are really good in that, so you can do that. I myself have started using financial calculator, I mean, recently, but previously I used to use Casio scientific calculator. So student is asking, sir, what model should we buy? So if you ask me, I would suggest you to buy Texas BA2 Plus. Uh, but if you have any other preferences, you can buy that as well. Okay, but this is not a compulsion. You may or may not buy the financial calculator, so it's totally up to you. You will see during our test and coming topics. If you feel that you need financial calculator, you can buy that. Otherwise, you should be okay using the other calculators. Okay. Okay. For the assignment, last time I had previous semester, I had three semester tests like in this semester, as well as we had an assignment. So the purpose of the assignment is to test, to expose you to some real world practicality of the topics that you will be studying. Okay, so in case if you are worried that maybe you can lose marks in assessment, normally I give assessments to give you some good marks, because the purpose of the assignment is to expose you to the real application of what you're studying. So that is the purpose actually solely. So do not be afraid of losing marks in the assignment. I mean, not losing significant marks, but I would say that you can get good marks, but I want you to try when I will give you the assignment. Okay. So that would be some practical assignment that you will be doing, or maybe some shorter case study that you need to solve. So I haven't yet decided about the case study, but but this would be uh, I mean, adopted by me to test your practical skills. Okay. I mean, because last time I had given students to estimate the weighted average cost of calculation using the real world data. So they have used the data and they were initially they were frustrated, but when they have completed the assignment later after the semester was over, so they were very happy that they actually had seen the real world calculation of weighted average cost of capital or cost of capital. Okay. Attendance code for the forum will be announced after this session. Okay. So any questions, students? If I haven't answered your question, so you can ask me. I'm here to see what you're actually thinking. No problem. I mean, you can discuss any matter. So I would be happy to answer your questions. Anyone? Yeah, because this is the only platform where I can interact most of the students. So I would like to know that if you are having questions, you can ask me directly, and this is a good platform to answer your questions. So if no question, can we discuss few questions with you? I mean, just show thumbs up so that I know that you're all okay. 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 So let's start some questions now, and let's see if you are. Let me share my screen with you. So share screen. Now, can all of you see the screen? Okay, thank you. So now let's discuss some questions. So these are some of the formulas. These formulas will be provided to you in the final exam. So don't worry, because the test and semester tests are open book, so you can access the formula sheet. So in the resources you can find on the Moodle. So formula sheet will be provided to you. So this is the formula sheet that you may use, but majority of the formulas will be provided to you. Okay, so if you see in this formula sheet, you have some, you see this one. So this is, these formulas, they discuss simple, present value and future value, right? And these formulas, they discuss annuity. Okay, so largely we can classify our valuation principles into simple, discounting, compounding, then we have annuity, then we have perpetuity, and in the perpetuity we have simple perpetuity as well as the growing perpetuity. Okay, so largely we have three major topics. Okay, simple, compounding and discounting mean just future value, present value of a single cash flow. Then we have annuity, and then we have perpetuity. Okay, so the last formula, if you see, is just for NPV. So these are the major three topics in the financial mathematics. The financial mathematics topics. Okay, the first 2 weeks. Okay, so this is the formula sheet that you can find. So this is there. Okay, so I will share, I will upload this file as well after the session, so you can find that. Okay, so together with the major topics, we know that how do we transform our return, effective annual rate, nominal rate. So these dates, so these formulas will also be given like this. Okay, now, so we will see the application of these formulas in the coming questions. So let's take our first question, that is single sum. Okay, so I know that most of you have already attempted these questions, such questions, but I will explain some of the key words that are very important for you to remember when you are solving these questions. Okay, so for instance, you are in desperate need of cash and turn to your uncle who has offered to lend you some money. So you decide to borrow $1,300. So you are borrowing it now and agree to pay back $1,500 in 2 years. So the timeline would be like this, that you have just borrowed 1,300 and you are going to pay 1,500 in 2 years. Okay, so a simple timeline, 2 years timeline. Alternatively, you could borrow from your bank that is charging 6.5%. Should you go with your uncle or bank? Okay, if you see, so they have given you bank interest rate. Okay, so if with this information we cannot decide that what is this question asking. Okay, because the question is already given as present value, the question is already given as future value, the question is already given as n is equal to 2. But with this uncle's borrowing from uncle, we are not given one thing, that is interest payment, right? So interest payment. So we don't know that what interest uncle is charging us, but we know one thing, that he is asking us 200 more than we have actually borrowed. That okay. So but bank interest rate is 6.5%. So this is a separate interest rate. You don't need to use this one. This is for the second option. So option 1 is uncle, option B is bank. So you cannot use bank rates for this option. Okay, so for this option, you have to have a different rate. So it means that we need to calculate. We don't know what was the rate. So we know one formula, that the present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus interest power n. The question is asking you to compare the interest charges that your uncle is charging versus bank. Okay, for the bank, we know that is 6.5%, but how much uncle is charging? So we need to calculate that. PV is 1300, FV 1300, then 1500, and interest is 12. We need to calculate power 2. So if you adjust this formula, so you will see that the interest rate that you will be paying to uncle is 7.42%, but if you take the loan from bank, you will be paying 6.5%. So which option is better? Of course, the one which lower interest rate will be more preferable. So instead of borrowing from uncle, it's better that you should go to bank and then borrow from the bank. Okay. So this is just a simple single cash flow question. So let's see, we have some annuity questions. Okay. Okay, Morgan borrows 180,000. Borrows mean whenever you say borrow word, this is always present value. Okay, when you borrow something, it is happening today. Okay, so if you're borrowing it now, so it is present value. Okay, to be repaid over 20 years. So the timeline would be 20 years, as you can see it here. Let me use another pen. Okay. Okay, over 20 years. Interest is charged on the loan that at 7.2% per annum compounded monthly. Okay, so there is one thing that you should remember. This statement is very important. This statement. Okay, if I say 7.2% per month, it means this rate is monthly rate. You don't need to convert this rate. This rate is already per month rate. Okay, so if it is 7.2% per quarter, no problem. It is a quarterly rate, 7.2% per 6 month. It's a semi-annual rate. So if statements are like that, it's very simple case. You don't need to convert this rate. But if the question is saying that 7.2% compounded monthly, okay, 7.2% compounded quarterly, 7.2% compounded annually, then it means that this rate has to be adjusted. So it means in the first case, we will divide it by 12. Second case, we will divide it by 4. And third case, we will divide it by 2. So if you see this word, 7.2% compounded, this word is very important, compounding. Okay, so it means that this is an annual rate. We have to convert its frequency to monthly rate. Okay, so like here 7.2%, even if per annum is not given, if let's say this per annum, we understand this is annual rate, but let's say if per annum is not given, 7.2% compounded monthly, so it means that this is an annual rate. We have to convert it into monthly rate divided by 12. If it is per annum, you understand this is annual rate. If there is no per annum or annual, just compounding word is also sufficient. You need to divide it by the relevant period, month, quarter. So you need to change that. Okay, so this is a very important statement. Students normally they get confused whether the rate given is a monthly rate or annual rate. So this is you need to remember. And monthly repayments are 1417.23. So this is cash flow per month. Okay, what is the loan outstanding after fourth month monthly repayments of 1417.32 have been made? Okay, let me show you the timeline. So initially you have taken a loan of this much for 12 years into 2 years mean 24, sorry, 20 years into 12, it would be 240 months or 2 years, same thing. Okay, so this is the, and every month you are going to submit how much? 1417.32. So every month this is the amount that you are going to pay back. Okay, so this is equal cash flow annuity. And what is the loan outstanding amount after you have paid 4 monthly payments? So it means that you have already paid 4. So it means, let's say, 1, 2, 3, and 4th. So let's say you have already paid this much. So your position here is, it means that you are standing here. Okay, so you have already made four payments. So you're not going to use these 4 payments. Always present value is equal to present value of value is equal to present value of the future cash flows, not the past cash flows. So how many more cash flows are left? 240. 4 you have already paid, 236. So it means remaining cash flows are 236. So what is the present value if you are standing after paying the 4th payment? We need to calculate. You can also calculate the remaining cash flows after you have paid, let's say, 20th payment or any payment at any point of time on this timeline. Okay, so we need to calculate present value when you have paid your 4th payment. Mean here at this time it will be your present time because you have already paid your 4th payments. You are standing here. Okay, so 7.2% per annum, we need to convert it into monthly rate. So this is what we did. And number of compounding periods, um, uh, 20 years multiplied by 12, 240 months. So 4 payments are already done. So how many more payments are left? 236. So we need to calculate the present value. Present value is equal to C divided by R, 1 minus 1 over 1 plus R power n. So this is the formula that you will be doing, and this is the answer. So it means once you have paid your 4th payment, this is the remaining, this is the present value of the remaining cash flows that you need to pay. Alternatively, if you are using the financial calculator, so you see if you are doing these calculation, it may take some time. Okay, but not a significantly different time. So it's better. So if you're using financial calculator, so you just need to do n is equal to 236. Interest rate is adjusted rate that you are doing, payment FV is equal to 0, compute PV. So this is the answer that you are going to get. I mean, it would be very short. Okay, but if you're using the financial calculator, you will get, and your answer you will use using financial calculator, n is equal to 236, interest payment is equal to 0.6%, PMT is this one, what is the amount, FV is equal to 0, so PV. So this is how you actually write when you're using the financial calculator, because you are not using the formula. So when I'm doing your evaluation, I need to check that what inputs you have used in the financial calculator. Okay, so if you see there are 2 decimals, but in finance we suggest you to go for the 4 decimal. Okay, but if you're doing 2 decimals also okay, but if you're using but the suggestion is that you use 4 decimals max. Okay, now the question has slightly changed. At the start of the 5th payment, okay, at the start of the 5th payment, mean the end of the 4th payment, end of the 4th payment, mean you paid it here, you were standing here, but next period is for year 5, right? So this is the end of year 4, And when you're starting here, this is the start of the year 5. So this is the end of year 5. This is the start of year 6. Okay, year 6. This is the end of year 6, start of year 7. So this is what this question is saying, that at the start of the 5th month, mean here, the interest rate on the Morgan's loan increases to 10.2% per annum, compounded monthly. Okay, so we need to convert it by monthly rate divided by 12. We will get the answer. So calculate the new monthly repayments Morgan will need to make to repay the loan by the end of the Morgan original term. Okay, n will not change, because if it is the end of the period, it is also start of the next period. So how many more periods were left? 2, 3, 6. Okay, n is same, interest rate is 10.2%, payment we need to calculate. Okay, so how do we calculate the payment? Using the financial calculator, you can get it very easily. N is equal to 236 interest payment PV. And previously you were inputting payment, but now you have PV, but FV will be 0, and you will compute your payment, that is equal to 1756. So higher than the payment before. So why is n the same? Okay, so this is a very good question. The student is asking me that why is the n same? Because if you see 0 to 40, okay, so the 4th month, 5th month, 6th month, 7th month, and so on, right? So previously the question was saying that you have already paid the 4th payment. So it means this payment is already made. 4th payment, 4 payments are done. So it means when I'm standing just here, so it is the start of year 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they were 2, 3, 6. Okay, so it means that you have completed the 4th payment, but the next payment is just started. Okay, so but the periods are of course 4, 2, 3, 6. The periods will be the same. So for instance, this is again like this. You are ending 3. This is the end of year 3, and this is the start of year 4. So this is 4. Okay, so it means at the end of the 4th payment, you have already paid the previous payments, but for the next payment, that is the 5th payment, so it is the start of the 5th payment, it is the end of the 5th payment. Okay, so that is why if you are standing here, so still we have 236 payment. Okay, so yeah, so that was a very good question. Now let's take an annuity question. Cecilia Young is a sales executive at Brisbane Company. She is 25 years old and plans to invest $300 every year in the retirement saving account. Okay, so so this is her age, 25-year age. Okay, and plans to invest 300 every year in retirement saving account. So every year mean, so this is an annuity beginning at the end of this year. So this is today, end of this year mean here. Okay, so this is today, this is the start of this year, and this is the end of this year, first year. So this is the end of first year, this is the start of the second year, this is the end of the second year, this is the start of the third year. Okay, so beginning at the end of this year until she turns 65 years old. So students normally they get confused that beginning means she is going to pay here. It's not like that, because if you see beginning at the end of this year mean end of this year is this time period. Okay, until she turns 65. So 65 she will keep paying how much? 3,000 every year. Okay, so 65. So the difference between 25 and 65 is how many years? So they are 40 years. So it means that she will be paying 3,000 every year for 40 years, and the return that she is getting is 9.75%. So how much will she have in 40 years? So the question is asking us that how much will she have in 40 years? So we need to calculate future value. Okay, future value of annuity. So the question says how much will be the value of the cash flows today, so then it will be present value, but the question is saying that how much will she have in 40 years. Okay, when she turns 65 years old, she will, this is here, so it means we need to calculate future value. So future value of annuity formula will be provided to you. So this is the formula, PMT, 1 plus interest power n minus 1 over interest. Okay, in other words, we can also use it like that, C divided by R, 1 plus interest power n minus 1. Okay, so the answer would be, this is the future value when she will get 65. Okay, so there are no changes because 9.5% annually, no changes in the frequency, and it is being paid after every year. So that is why the frequency of payment and the interest payments, it is exactly equal. So that is why we don't need to change anything. Okay, so you can stop me if you have any problem. Now, deferred annuity. Deferred annuity, there is just one rule that you should remember. Okay, annuity means there will be some number of years, but when I say deferred, it means that you skip the first payment. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, so if there are no payments in first year, it is starting maybe in year 2, year 3, 4, 5, and so on. So it is deferred because you are skipping the immediate first year. So there are no payments. If there are no payments in the immediate first year, so it will be a deferred annuity. So it means the payments are starting 2 years from now. If you're standing here, so I can say that the payments are starting 2 years from now. So it is deferred. If I say, then there is a payment here as well. So payment are starting 1 year from now. So this is annuity. Okay. But if I say payments are starting 2 years from now, so it means we are missing year number 1. So this is deferred. It could be deferred perpetuity if it is an annuity, a perpetual life. If we have specific number of years, it will be deferred annuity. Okay, so but the condition is that you skip the immediate first year, then it will be either deferred perpetuity or deferred annuity. Perpetuity when we have infinite life, annuity when we have some finite life. Okay, so this is the rule that you should remember. So deferred annuity cash flow, a series of cash flow, the first cash flow not in year 1, but after year 1. Okay, mean not in year 1, after year 1, it can start from year 4. So the question would be like that. The first cash flow is starting 4 years from now. Okay, so when, let's say, okay, so it means that we, please remember this rule, when it is deferred annuity, the present value here, you can, the answer of the present value of annuity, you can solve this question using annuity due, or you can simply solve present value of annuity simple ordinary. Okay, so it means that the answers, if you want to solve this question using annuity due or simple ordinary annuity, your answer will be the same. Okay, so let's say the payment is starting from year 4, and there are 10 payments. So payment number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means total 6 payments. Okay. So if you are using ordinary annuity, if you're using the formula of ordinary annuity, so the formula for the annuity is C divided by R, 1 minus 1 over 1 plus R power n. So if you are, please remember this rule, if you are using ordinary annuity, your answer of this formula will not be at year 4. It will be 1 year before. So it means this answer is at year 3. Okay, because ordinary annuity mean this is the start of the 4th year, this is the end of year 4. Starting from year 4 mean starting from here. Okay, so that is why you have to take 1 year less. So this is your answer, but this n is not going to change, it will be 6. So only the difference is that you have to take 1 year less. So your answer will be at year 3. Once you get your answer, then you have to take it back to year 0 for how many periods? 3 periods. Okay. So you will see that the answer will be similar answer. But if you are using due, so your answer will be at year 4. Present value of annuity due is equal to C divided by R, 1 minus 1 over 1 plus R power n is equal to 6. It will be 6. Okay. We have to add one thing, that is 1 plus R. So this answer will be at the same year from where the payments are starting. Okay. So you have to take it then back to year 0. So how many years? Negative 4. Because we have to take it back 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if it is you're using simple ordinary annuity, your answer will be here. Okay, so you have to take how many years back? 3 years back. Okay, so this question is solved using ordinary annuity, but you can also solve it through deferred. Due. An investment pays 200 every year for 5 years. Okay, if the first payment received 3 years from today and the discount rate is 10%, find the value of the investment. Okay, so you see that the first payment is starting in year 3 and the total payments are 5 payments. Payment 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so first payment is starting here, but you see you are missing the initial 1 year. So it means that if you are using ordinary annuity formula, so your answer will be at year 2. You see, that is why at year 2. So present value is equal to 200 divided by interest payment 1 minus 1 over 1 plus interest power. How many payments? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is why it is 5 here. So once you get your answer, not at year 3, the answer would be at year 2. This answer is at year 2. So once you get your answer, then you have to take it back to year 0 because ultimately we want our answer at year now. Okay. So this is your answer, and then you will use this value and take it back to period 0. So how many periods we need to go back? So answer will be here 1 and 2. So you can also solve this question using our annuity due. So the only difference that you need to make is that is 1 plus R, number 1, number 2, this will be 3. Okay, so that's all. I mean, this is the only thing that you need to change. You will see that the answer will be similar. Okay. Then we have some growing annuity as well. Investment A will pay a return of 65 1 year from now. Okay, so can you tell me whether this is deferred annuity or simple annuity? Anyone? Please turn on your mic if you want to answer. This investment will pay a return of $65 1 year from now. From now, 1 year from now. May I ask you if it is deferred or simple? Anyone? Yeah, it's simple, very good. Because it is 1 year from now, mean here, right? So sometimes the statements may confuse you, so don't get confused. So if it is 2 year from now, then it is deferred. If it is 1 year from now, it cannot be deferred. So it's a simple annuity or perpetuity. Analysts expect this return to grow at 8% per annum thereafter till the fifth year. Okay. Compute the present value of this investment given that required rate of return is 12%. Okay, so there is one simple way that you can do because each cash flow would be different. So if you see period 0, the first payment is 65. 1 year from now, analysts expect that this return to grow at 8% per annum. So after that, it will grow at 8%. So 65 and to 1.08. So this is the first payment and then 8%. This is the payment and then 8%. This is the payment. Okay. So each year, 111, it is growing at the rate of 8%. Once we get that, then we can calculate the present value. Okay. So we can simply use the present value to get our answer like this. Simple cash flow method. But instead of doing the individual cash flows, we can do one thing. So we can use a formula. And so instead of individual discounting, we can use a formula of growing annuity. So that is equal to PV C divided by R minus G, 1 minus 1 plus G divided by 1 plus R power N. So you will see that you will get the same answer. Okay. So, so you might be confused that 70, but here you're using 65. Okay, so it means that we are discounting it back to year 0. So either you just simply increase it. Okay, so the first payment is 65, so that is why it is here. The second payment will be 70, it will grow. Okay, and next payment is 75, it is here. Then I mean in the fourth year, this will be the payment, it will grow to 81.88. Okay, so simply you do that, 65 grow by 1.08, you will get your answer. 1.08, you will get your answer, and until year 5. So once you have all the answer 65, you can discount it back all the cash flows and you will get your answer 270. So instead of doing the single cash flows, so we can do the formula and we can get our answer, that is 270. By the way, this formula will be provided. Okay. So this is annuity with growth rate. So this is how you do it actually. Sorry, I'm fast because the time is is close. So excuse me. Growing annuity future value, we are now using future value of growing annuity. Alan currently is 35, is considering saving 10,000 per year. So this is annuity, okay, for his retirement. Although 10,000 is the most he can save in the first year, he expects his salary to increase each year so that he will be able to increase his saving by 5% per year. So this is growth rate. Okay. With this plan, if he earns 10% on his investment, so this is interest rate, how much will Alan have in his account at the age of 65? So currently his age is 35. So how much will he have when his age will be 65? So interest rate is 10%, growth rate is 5%. Okay. So it means that we can use the formula of annuity because every year that is 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, but with a growth rate. So how many years do we have? We have total 30 year. Okay. N is equal to 30. Okay. So the question is asking us to calculate the future value. So we can calculate this future value using two formulas. Number one, future value, we know that it is equal to present value 1 plus R power N. So you can use this formula to get the future value, or you can use a direct formula of future value of growing annuity. So that is equal to so present value, you know this formula, PV is equal to, from the previous formula we learned that R minus G from this formula? Yeah, you can calculate the present value through this formula. Once you have the present value, then you can future value is equal to present value 1 plus r power n. Present value, you will get the answer, n is equal to 30, you get your answer like this. Okay, so this is the present value that you got from that formula discussed above. You use present value here and power 30. This is the answer. Alternatively, you can use another formula, future value of annuity. So that is equal to C divided by R minus G, 1 plus R power n minus 1 plus G power n. So you will see that your answer will be similar. So it's totally up to you. If you have present value, you can use the simple compounding method, or if you don't want to use present value of annuity, you can straight away use this formula. Okay. Now we are going to discuss some perpetuity question. An investment offers RM 4900 per year for 15 years. So if it is 15 years are mentioned, it means that this is annuity, not perpetuity. With the first payment occurring 1 year from now, 1 year from now is year 1. So it's not a deferred. If the required return is 8%, what is the value of the investment? So we need to calculate the value. You see that the first payment is happening here. N is equal to 15, interest 8%, present value. N is equal to 15. So simple annuity formula. So this is your answer. Okay. If the payments occur for 75 years, if you use 75 years now, so just slightly change 75 years. Okay. But if it is for forever, so for forever, this is infinity. Infinity, if you solve this infinity part, your answer for this part will be 1. So that is why this part is excluded. Only this part will be used. 4900 divided by 0.08, you will get your answer of. Okay, students who have some classes in another unit or some tutorials, so they can leave. I will upload this recording after this session. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain the remaining questions. So these questions you can follow back once you are free. Okay. Now let's get to another question. Growing perpetuity. Similar to growing annuity, we have growing perpetuity. So the difference is not very much. If you see, present value of annuity with growth rate was R minus G. Since it is an infinity, 1 plus R minus power n. Since n is equal to infinity, so this part becomes equal to 1. So we can use this formula. Okay. C divided by R minus G. You are thinking of building a new machine that will save you 2000 in the first year 2000. The machine will then begin to wear out so that the saving decline at the rate of 4%. So this is G, growth rate. Year forever. What is the present value of the saving if the required rate of return is 6%? Interest rate is equal to 6%. So interest rate R is given, growth rate is given. So simply you need to key in the information and you will get your answer. So this is the simple. In this week tutorial, we had already discussed these questions. So the last question is deferred perpetuity. So defer, similar to deferred annuity, we have deferred perpetuity. Okay. So it means that we are going to miss the initial payment, immediate payment, and later in some later time. For instance, an investment pays $100 forever. So this is perpetuity. Find the value of the investment today if the first payment starts at the end of year 5. So at the end of year 5 is here. Okay. So remember this thing. The payments are starting 5 years from today. So it means that the answer that you will get will not be at year 5. So it will be at year 4. Remember one thing. If the payments are starting from year 6, the formula that you are using here, this will be 1 year less from where the payments are starting. If it is starting in year 7, the answer will be at year 6. If it is starting at year 10, the answer of this formula or annuity formula will be at year 9. Okay, so once you get your answer here, so this will be at year 4, so you have to take it back to year 0. So if you see, oh, okay, so this is 1000. Once you got your answer, we have to take it back to year 0. So present value is equal to this answer divided by 1 plus interest rate power 4, 683. If it is starting from year 6, the answer would be at year 5. So this will change. Okay, this will change to 5. If it is at 7, this will change to 6. Okay, so this is these are all the questions that I wanted to discuss, because we had some other questions as well. So I will upload this this slide after this session. So meanwhile, you can expect me to upload some practice question for your test 1. Hopefully they will help you. So if you have any questions, please, you need to ask me. I will be there to help you, because the purpose of teaching you this unit is not to fail you. I want you to perform well. So for that, you need to work hard, and hopefully you will get a very good HD score. Okay, so I will be uploading this session after, because the time was just 1 hour, so I tried to discuss maximum questions that I could discuss.